Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. When I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes, I really struggled to quit. This was about 7 years ago. Really struggled to quit smoking cigarettes. Had been trying for years to quit, and was told repeatedly by other people that I just didn't have the willpower it took. I just needed more willpower. I just needed more willpower to quit. And this is an unfortunate perception of addiction by people who aren't suffering from addiction. The will to quit and having willpower typically really aren't the issues, and they're also not really necessarily part of the solution. So I'm going to read a little bit about what Chuck C has to say about willpower in A New Pair of Glasses, and talk about how having willpower isn't really the issue we need to be looking at. So in concerning whether or not alcoholics, addicts have willpower, here's what Chuck C has to say about it. It most certainly isn't willpower. If there was ever a group of people on the face of the earth who has willpower, it's the drunks of the world. We've got willpower to burn. I could get whiskey in Kansas on election day if it fell on a Sunday. How long it took depended only on how high I was walking off the sidewalk. Any place in the country, if the need was great, it didn't take long to get a jug. Every time I hear these earth people talking about backbone, willpower, I want to ask them one question. How many of them ever crawled a mile in the mud after dark just to get a bucket of ice? It's par for the course for a drunk. We've got willpower to burn. So the idea that I should be able to employ my willpower in order to quit an addiction, and that my lack of ability to do so is because of a lack of willpower, is a misinterpretation of the way that addiction works. And what I found is that the times where I tried to employ sheer willpower to stop doing something are the times that I failed. It wasn't until I started doing some action related to quitting what I was trying to do that I succeeded. And this really came through with cigarettes. When I was quitting smoking, like I said, I tried so many times, and I tried doing all sorts of things. I tried medication. I tried nicotine gum. I tried patches. I tried vaping to see if that would help. And I always ended up back at the store picking up a new pack of cigarettes. It wasn't until I did a little bit of reading, so read a couple of books about quitting smoking and educated myself about why people get addicted to smoking and why some people are addicted and not others, and really got to know the addiction itself. It wasn't until I did that and then started planning some actions around, I made a recovery plan for quitting smoking. My recovery plan included things like exercise. It included one of the most important things in my recovery plan for quitting smoking was to identify things that I couldn't do or didn't enjoy because of cigarettes, and then do those. A big one, going to the movies. I hated going to the movies when I was a smoker because usually about 45 minutes into the movie, I wanted to step outside and have a cigarette. A lot of times I did, and that ruined the experience. Exercise was another one. I was really excited at that point to see what kind of results I got if I started exercising without cigarettes. How did my exercise improve? And so I set up some ways that I could measure that. In a similar way, when I stopped doing all drugs, when I got completely sober, I had a plan for that. I had actions related to what I was going to do after I got sober. And these things included, again, spending time with family, being able to do those kinds of things without worrying about when am I going to be able to go out and get high. Spending time at work for the same reasons. Doing all sorts of things and concentrating on what are the things I'm going to be able to do when I'm sober that I couldn't do while I was high. And these are just examples. There were all sorts of other things, especially when I got completely sober. There were all sorts of other things in my plan that, by combining them together, led to my success. So I had to have willingness to do those things, but just quitting on sheer willpower was not enough. The mechanisms that drive addiction, from the biochemical mechanisms inside the brain to the social mechanisms to your spiritual well-being, all of these things interact in a way that makes it very difficult, if not impossible, for a true addict to just simply put it down, walk away from it, and never come back. So the folks who tell you it should be as easy as just saying no, it should be as easy as just not taking that next drink, that's just take that with grace, and then make your plan. Make a plan. Talk to people who have done it successfully. Find out what they've done, and then make a plan on how to do it. Whether it involves getting into a program like AA or Refuge Recovery or Smart Recovery. Whether it involves working closely with someone in a church, mosque, synagogue, any kind of religious or spiritual institution, or whether it involves doing what I did and going into an inpatient treatment program, a residential treatment program. Find out what you need to do and do that. But don't be discouraged because someone tells you you should just be able to walk away from this. If you can't do that, don't worry. Neither could I. And to successfully find my path in sobriety, my path in recovery, I had to make plans and I had to take action. It took a lot more than just saying that I wasn't going to do it and walking away. I had to walk toward something else. And that's when I really found some success and was able to start on my recovery journey. That's it for today. I hope you have a good day, and I'll be back here tomorrow with more.